Hi, welcome back. This is day 3 of my 30-day challenge to myself to come to you daily with some sort of something of value, hopefully, in relation to being healthier. And I call this the world according to Esther, because that's what it is, my perspective. So today I want to talk about a level of mental health and how, at least one example of a way that belief systems happen and that cognitive dissonance can happen where there are belief systems inside that don't agree and that are even maybe at odds with each other, that it creates an internal confusion and it shows up. My dog wants to play. Stella wants to play ball with me. It shows up. I love that. In all sorts of ways. And if you've had that experience, as many of us have, possibly all of us, of reacting to something that's said or done, or an experience that you have, and just firing off in some way or another, and then afterward kind of regretting it or noting it. Hey, Mike, thanks for being here. So that reactive piece of us, how that comes about, or one way that it comes about, one way, thank you. I'm going to go watch the show tonight, so I thought I gotta get this done before I go. And this is important, actually. This is really important. And I'm sure I've been avoiding it through the day. When we are about 5 or 6 years old, our conscious mind, the waves in our brain upgrade to adult and human level, right? Active, conscious, where we're making conscious decisions, and we are, before that, we're kind of living in a bit of a dream state. Hi, what's up, Isaac? Ike! Good to see you. So when I was about 6, so that conscious mind's coming on, I had an experience. It wasn't really a big deal, according to our human adult brains. However, for me as a 6-year-old girl, it was rough. I'm getting a text message. I'll have to answer in just a moment. Oh, and Stella wants to play with me. Boy, this is an interesting live. Holy cow, how active are we? Oh. So we lived on a small farm. I'll make it as quick as possible. I loved animals. I still love animals. I wanted to be a veterinarian. Dr. Dolittle was one of my heroes, right? I always wanted to speak to animals. Who knows? Maybe I did. And there were some chickens. It was time for dinner, really. It was their time. And in true farmer fashion, we went out in the backyard with my dad, and he took care of the chickens, and they ran around with their heads cut off for a bit, and there was laughter. And I didn't realize until recently that my actual response to that was one of horror and sadness, pain, upset, a lot of it. And I didn't understand, I had learned the 10 Commandments in Sunday school, and I was very confused about that do not kill thing. It was interesting to me that, that there was an exception made at that age. That's where I was at. That's how my relationship with animals. And it was just really an interesting moment, because my dad and my brother found a lot of joy in the moment, and it wasn't it's not like there was this big, horrific, traumatic thing. It all made sense. And so, truthfully, as I matured over the course of the next period of time, year, 2, 3 years, whatever, I talked myself into the same thing, took on that belief system, which is fine, nothing wrong with it. We are omnivores, right? And it created this sort of argument inside myself with myself. And I am feeling so much more at peace now. For whatever reason, sorting through that and balancing into that experience. Like, it's fascinating. It's freaking fascinating. And it's beautiful, and I appreciate it. And I will probably talk more about it later. This isn't exactly the way I had intended this video to go. Just simply know that there are some things that as we're growing and we're children and we're establishing our belief systems about the world, and we put 80% of them in place by the time we're like 8, 9, 10 years old, that as we're doing that, we're perceiving from a child's point of view. And there are so many different techniques out there to help us rewrite those stories in our minds and in our memories, and at least the way that we perceive them. And it's so healthy to do that. Hey Lonnie, what's up? I will talk more about this. Hypnosis, Psych K, EFT, emotional freedom technique is what that's called. The emotion code, sound therapy, vibrational therapy. Any of these things can help with this stuff. And there's just a zillion techniques. We've all got it. You know, that wasn't a lot. There are some really awful childhoods. That's not, I was loved. That wasn't like this big awful thing. However, I'm a soft soul. I'm a sensitive being. And for me, in that moment, there was a fracture sort of in my perceptions. And I've been carrying that through. It's created arguments and fights and anxieties in my life that I've created for myself. And I'm very grateful to be balancing that out now. So that's it. Hopefully it's helpful to somebody. Thanks.